Hello, everybody. My name is Lewis Lee, and I am in witness protection program. So I'm in my Jeep hiding. Got my man Ray. What's up, Ray?
Lewis, good to be here again this week. Good to see you.
Yes, sir. It comes quick. Thursday pops in fast.
Yeah, it does. Well, I've been a little busy these days with outdoor maintenance, so it's been keeping me busy. So
Yeah. So I'm real excited. The next 2 weeks we got some really interesting guests coming on.
okay.
We got Rick from Bone Shaker
Oh,
with the jet truck. So
right,
he's
right.
coming on next week. He has some exciting new stuff going on. So we're gonna help him or promote that his stuff.
Okay,
And then the week after, we have Carmen from AM Hot Rod Glass,
okay.
and she makes custom glass for all of the builders, Foos, Ring Brothers, all of them. They all use her.
Interesting.
And once I start, I'm gonna send you the pack showing you all of her stuff.
Yeah, I'd like to
Wait till
see
you see the
that.
cars. You're gonna know all the cars.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, and then if you like, on Motormouth Radio last Sunday, we had Carl Anthony on,
Hmm.
and Carl once again has changed gigs. Now he's in a new writing endeavor with a new group, and
Okay.
he'd like to come back when there's some time as well. So
Oh, for sure.
we got him
Yep.
in the
Always glad to have him on.
yeah, yeah.
Yep.
So
So So we were at SEMA, not this past year, but the year before,
mhm.
and Richard Rollins had a truck out there, old old school, no, not old school, OBS pickup truck,
Okay.
all black, step side, and it had a whole glass. The whole roof was glass.
Oh wow.
And come to find out, Carmen made it.
I guess
And
you know what he got. So is she making, just to tip the scales, just to give us a little pre info? Is she doing safety glass, or is it just clear, like decorative glass?
no, I believe it's safety because she's doing windshields and stuff too.
So that's laminated glass. Yeah, that's safety glass.
Yeah. So here's another one. Dave King did that Cadillac with the bullets in the grill.
Yeah.
She did that glass.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
I know this, where auto glass is concerned. Windshield. You can get pretty much a windshield for pretty much any car, because they always made so many of them because it was a common thing that breaks. Side glass, not so much, and back glass, even
Yeah.
less. So when I was redoing my Pontiac, the windshield had a crack, and it said, put a new windshield in it. And my buddy Jeff, who's the glass guy, researched it, and his cost, which was my cost, which was only like, it was under $150. It was cheap. It's a common car. I mean, and that's going back probably 10 years ago too.
Hmm.
And but when he got it, he came over to my house and said, "Okay, no, we're not going to put this in yet, but I want you to take it and store it, so I don't. It's not in my van." Okay. As soon as he handed it to me, it was just in some paper. I knew. I could feel it. It was lighter. It wasn't as heavy as the one that we had taken out. And
Hmm.
sure enough, it was thinner. So, I mean, the quality is great. The glass is fine. It doesn't, optically, it's good. I've been using it now for years and it's fine. But on the installation part, he said a lot of guys fall short on this, and he's aware of it, so he doesn't. When you set that glass in, if you put it in a stock location my car, yeah, on the butyl, it's now effectively sitting lower in the opening, and the moldings, the stainless steel
Hmm.
trim isn't going to be on top of the glass. There's going to be a gap because the glass is thinner. And
Right.
a lot of guys will do that. And sometimes they'll bend the clips and kind of contour the moldings in to fit, which makes a gap on the other side. He says, I've seen all sorts of bad work. So what he did was he literally built up the butyl end of it, made up the difference in sealer, so the
Hmm.
glass would be out far enough. Now, the stuff you're talking about, like with Kindig and Fuso, I mean, I've seen their cars. I mean, they have flush mounted glass. Oh my
Yeah.
God, they have
Yep.
some gorgeous. So I'm just talking about a shit ass street car like mine. I'm not talking about one of their cars.
Well,
Um,
she's also doing glass for flush mount for cars because she reached out to Terry to do his Barracuda.
Okay.
But he don't want to do it because if something ever happens down the line,
Yeah.
he has to modify the car to fit it. So
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I could see that, on a show car, obviously, because it's going to be just in a controlled environment trailer. But yeah, it's Harry's going to drive the car, so yeah, I understand that. So yeah,
Jim,
there's a lot of stuff behind just a stupid piece of glass. You don't realize,
Oh yeah, a lot of technology on it.
Right.
Yeah, Jim said it was the copper Cadillac, King Diggs.
Okay. All right.
But she's been all over the place. She's been doing it for 20 years. I'm gonna send you the whole media pack and you can check it out.
Oh sure, I'd like to look at that. Hopefully, I'll get the time to sit. Like this computer, I'm at my computer down in my basement. I haven't been at this machine since Sunday when I uploaded my radio show stuff. It's like I can't even be bothered coming down here anymore. It's like, I just sit upstairs. I use the laptop. I'm like, I'm not going to go down there. It's like, what am I going to be bothered for? It's like everything is like the path of least resistance in my life now.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
It's funny, but yeah, what are you gonna do? So yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, so I'm excited to have her on. Then I sent the email out to Chip Foose, to his people. So as soon as they get back to me, hopefully we can get him on too pretty soon.
Okay.
Yep. So that's gonna be a real good one.
Oh yeah. No, absolutely. That's good. Be rolling into the new season and talking about some cool stuff.
So she's done a lot of work with the Ring brothers too. So I'm going to reach out to Mike and see if he wants to come on when she comes on.
Sure.
So I'm going to reach out to him.
Cool.
Yep. All right, let's get the fellas in and see what they're thinking about.
All right. There he is.
Hey guys.
Hey, Brian.
What's up,
Papa Squirrel?
Papa Squirrel.
It's okay. I need a weather report from everybody's location.
We're hot. Who said hot?
Me.
Oh,
Me too. Papa Squirrel, you still in Arizona?
Still in Arizona.
Yeah, it was 91 today.
wow.
It was in the low 60s here today.
I hear it was rainy in North Carolina today.
Yeah.
We had rain like 2 days ago. We had it kind of rumble through here.
Yeah, it's 30 and mostly cloudy. Supposed to get some more rain. It's been raining on and off.
We're supposed to get some more snow.
That's what they were calling for that. They were calling for that, and it's been pushed back until Monday.
Yeah, it's like Sunday. They're talking about Sunday to Monday, maybe. And they're just hemming and hawing right now. They don't know what. But you know what? What are they going to throw at me? 6 inches? Big
Another
deal.
2 feet.
What's that, Jim?
Another 2 feet.
Yeah. I got places to put it. Yeah, why not?
I'm running out.
Yeah, I am too. Trust me. Fucking got nothing. But
Melt it and put it in the river.
if I had a river, I would, believe me. But I don't. Take me down to the river.
Just sit out there by the pop the manhole cover off and just push it all down in the sewer system.
Actually, I'll tell you what's going on. I have, the street is just packed. And between my house, my driveway, there's like maybe a 3-foot piece of curb, and then my neighbor's driveway. And there's a 5-foot mountain of snow there. On the other side of her driveway, though, is where the drain is for the water drain. And that's even covered with snow. I can clear enough of that away with a shovel. And I've had to do this before. That mound that's between our driveways, I have to make a tunnel in it at the curb where the curb is. So whatever melts on my end at the bottom of my driveway and refreezes, when it won't have anywhere to go. So when it melts, it needs a place to flow, and I got to dig a tunnel. So I was actually thinking this time if I can get like a 4-inch section of PVC and maybe just drive it through the snow. It's only like, I'm only going to go like 3 or 4 feet, maybe 5 feet. Just drive it through and then pull it out. Maybe I can make a nice round hole, and that'll be my water drain tunnel.
Yeah.
Either that or I'll take the piece of pipe and drive it in with an M80 in it, and then just like light the fuse and stand back.
That's the answer I tell everybody. A pack of matches. That's all you need. Just a pack of matches. Let it burn, baby.
Or get one of those things from Elon Musk, the flamethrower.
Oh yeah. So
Get you put you a fire ring out there.
yeah. Oh boy. So yeah, I got some tool stuff to talk to you about tonight, Brian. I've been seeing a couple of good things. I just saw a video on one of the test channels on the new Milwaukee ratchets that came out.
Yeah.
Of course, now that I've invested in them, they've redesigned them. They're M12 ratchets, and they're coming with 2.5 amp hour batteries, which is nice. They upped the current. And what they changed was, instead of the paddle, some people like the paddle because they said it got caught, so they have a button.
Yep.
But they also have a kit that gives you like 4 or 5 different contoured buttons and a paddle. So if you bought one with a button, you could put the paddle on, or you could use one of the different contour buttons. That's like a $20 or $25 kit. And the thing I really liked was the direction switch on the head. They raised it so it's not flush mounted in the head. Yeah. It is flush with the body of the ratchet. It's not taller than the body because the head kind of cuts down from the body. Now, the question I have about that is, can that new head be retrofit into the older ratchet?
I don't know yet. I haven't gotten any information on it other than I did a pre-order on stuff, and whenever we get it.
I actually have Milwaukee's site open, and I see they have the anvil. They give you a part number for it, and it just says M12 fuel ratchet 3/8 low profile anvil assembly. They don't even give you a price. They give you a part number, so they're not saying. But I want to know if that retrofits, because I will definitely retrofit my ratchets with that. That's an excellent thing, because I have trouble with that low mount design. And then they tapered the body, so it's not just a big, round. It's more of a slimline taper. And they said, guys, maybe with smaller hands, I'm not worried about that. But they said, the guy did say, ergonomically, it feels better. It's got a nicer feel to it. So that's nice. And then they have the custom kit and what else? Oh, and they also, on that new head, I will, you know what? Let me show it to you. On the new head, there we go. Present. Let me find this here. Where am I? Share screen. Window, boom, boom. Okay, so what they did right here, the silver piece in the middle, you can use a micro grease, one of the micro grease, and that you can
Zork fitting,
and you can grease that head where you can't do it on the old one.
Yeah.
So that's a really good. That's a really cool. I like that. That's just another reason to really like that head. So yeah, if you find out if they're retrofittable, let me know. I definitely would be in the market for a couple of those. So that was kind of cool.
I know. Previously, there's only like, throughout all the years of the ratchets, there's only like, I think there's only like 2 heads, two different styles.
Okay.
So maybe 3, but so I don't know. Hopefully, I could find information, or hey, I got 3 weeks. I got what, 3 weeks till our tool show, so hopefully I can find out some more stuff about it.
I would imagine, just by looking, because he actually did. I forget if it was Tool Test Channel. I forget which channel it was I was watching, but he actually had the the older ratchet and the newer one side by side for comparison. The newer ones are a little longer too, and the heads look. I mean, by just quick visual inspection, they look pretty much identical. The head of the ratchet, so I would imagine that thing would.
That was the bigger silver bot head, right? That was I think it's silver, because the earlier one you had the earlier ones were black, and then I think the later ones were a thicker silver.
Well, I know the high speed one is silver, that's for sure. I think my other ones though are black.
Yeah.
the regular.
So, and I think the new design has that silver body because that was a stronger head. That
Yeah.
kept the head from spreading.
Okay. The other thing he showed, which was really weird, he had the older 3/8 ratchet on the desk, and he just kind of held it lightly with one hand, and he hit the paddle, and the thing torqued to one direction and just like rolled. And he did that a number of times, and it rolled every time the same direction. Then he took the new one, hit the button, and it rolled to the right. Hit the button again, it rolled to the left. Every time he hit it, it rolled the opposite direction. So he said, so what's that all about? And what he claims is, and he says Milwaukee did some research and followed what their customers were saying. He called it a neutral drop or a clutch dump or whatever you want to call it. Apparently, some guys in the trade have been taking a ratchet with the socket on it, powering it up, and then jamming it onto the bolt as the socket is turning.
Oh yeah, that's what they. Yeah,
I've never heard of that. I mean, what the to try and get more, loosening power or whatever.
Well, they also do that for speed of doing that when they're doing like my transmission guys, like when they're taking the transpan off, the ratchet's just running and they're just jamming it on, taking the bolts off, and they never let off.
Yeah,
and that's back in the day, even with the air ratchets. I mean, they do that.
I mean, I've seen guys do that with the old paddle style, palm guns. They would maybe do that, but yeah, I mean, that's not me. That's not how I work. So he said because of that, they redesigned the tool and puts more slop. He still did not explain why it went a different direction, because it's with the tool locked in either right or left, it's gonna go the correct direction. So he didn't have all the information, but he said that was the reason why. They were responding to people saying they like to neutral drop it, and now they kind of built in a little bit more leeway into the tool, I guess, so they don't blow the tool up.
Yeah, because I got a few guys that just eat heads up like crazy, and I watch them. I said, dude, I understand that you're so-called working for speed, but that's.
I mean, I guess with a 5-year warranty, you got a long time to burn up a lot of ratchets on their dime. But what are you going to do after that?
Well, that's when they trade it in and buy a new one.
Get a new one, right? Yeah.
Or again, they bitch and complain, and somehow they find the right person to take care of their problem.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to.
These guys training to be NASCAR tire changers or something?
Yeah, exactly. Well, at least on those guns, there's five sockets. That they just it's on like a daisy chain thing.
There's actually there's a bunch of tricks they do. For if you ever seen a NASCAR lug nut, it's actually rounded on both ends.
I have not seen one.
So that as you're going in, you got the trigger pulled the whole time. As you're going in, it actually rounds and finds it, and then locks in and takes it off.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, and also the stud has got a blind section, so it's not threaded all the way, and so it.
Yeah.
Plus, they're glued on. They glue them to the wheel, so when the guy I'm not sure if it's this new, because I had,
well, the new car only has one lug nut.
Got like,
right.
Yeah,
it's got one. The old ones they used to glue them.
Yeah, and like Jim was saying, the old style they were machined. They were like a concave on both sides, and they would glue it. And then they had the protruding stud had a bit of a section. So when he would pop the wheel up there, it would kind of, and they basically used Gorilla Snot when they would put them on the rim. So when they popped it on there,
adhesive,
it would stay, and then he could just zip, just pop them on there. And like you said, they were one-shot deals. So if it kind of chewed a little bit of the external off, they weren't being used again. Once they got pulled off the car, they went in a big bucket and they were gone. They only used them once. So, to them, it was speed and just, get it on. And as long as it was tight, that was it, that was its one shot, because they weren't going to reuse it.
Maybe not so tight.
Well, technically they had penalties and stuff if they
did that later on, because it got to the point where they were putting 3 lugs on.
Oh, wow.
Hey, faster, right?
Well, there's NASCAR is its own worst enemy. I think. I quit following them when they got into all that, not DEI, but when they started getting into all that touchy feely. It's like, dude, it's NASCAR started with a bunch of bootleggers to see who was the fastest, just balls out, wheels to nose to the grindstone driver. That's how NASCAR started.
Yep.
Not who made them all feel touchy feely and good and fluff their emotions.
Right. I stopped following them when they started kicking the RVer guys out of the center.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? Now it's all $1 million rigs in there.
You mean you don't have 4 or 5 of those, $750,000 Bear Prevost chassis just laying around?
Three-quarter.
The
cheap one, huh?
That's the base. That's the base rolling chassis, Jim. Is about $750,000.
Yep.
Something like
Crazy.
20 years ago, they had Kenny Wallace was on one of not Kenny. Yeah, Kenny Wallace. He was on one of their shows, and he goes, they were talking about NASCAR trying to save money. He's like, they're going to find a way to spend the money. And he said, and he has for his team, and he's not, not real famous. He said he had a $300,000 rig, and this is 20 years ago. He said, go look at Jeff Gordon's. That one's $1 million. They'll find a place to spend the money.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's who was it? And I think I was talking with our buddy in North Carolina the other day about a truck. If you go buy a Peterbilt or a Kenworth or even a Volvo, or pick your brand, and you go want to buy a brand new over the road Class 8 truck, they start at about $150,000. That's where they start.
Yeah.
And if you want the big decked out package and doodads and lights and all the, as Ray learned, chicken lights and chrome and all the, bells and whistles, $225, $250, it's not out of the question.
Yeah.
I think it's as a almost 22 year third generation, I think they're out of their minds.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But hey, like you said, to each their own. If that's what you want, have at it, brother.
Hey,
Have
people
at
are
it.
getting it. Yeah.
Yep.
You want, forget it, a full-size pickup truck right now. You can go north of $100,000 in no time.
Oh, yeah.
Jim, I remember when Ford announced they were coming out with the Platinum Series, however many years ago. When they announced that they were going to do a Platinum Series truck, Ford came out and basically said it's going to be a 6-figure truck. And I thought they were nuts back then. But again, go look, like you said, look at a 3/4 1-ton. You get a what is it, a rough country, or not a rough country? What does Chevrolet call theirs?
High country.
A high country, a Dodge is what their big Laramie or big horn. Ford's got the
King Ranch.
King Ranch. They're well above 6 figures for a pickup truck.
Yeah.
Out of their minds.
What do you
I
think about
agree
this
with
bad
you
boy?
way too well.
And they,
Oh,
God.
no.
Like,
Well, you know what?
It's a new,
International.
Kenworth.
I was going to say International has started using the Duramaxes in their medium duty pickups and stuff like that, or not pickups, but the cabin chassis. And then, but yeah, it's Lewis. You and I know that. Go take a 8-foot bed crew cab dually to any parking lot and see what a pain in the butt it is to park that.
Yeah.
And these trucks are bigger than those by at least another 5-10 feet easy.
Yeah. Yep.
Plus they got a wider track. I mean, don't get me
No
wrong.
turn radius.
Don't get me wrong. I would daily any one of those you just showed, but that's me. But
I
is it
wonder what they're
practical?
running. Have you
No.
seen the price on any of those?
Like I said, a couple years ago, or 2 or 3 years ago, before I moved back over here, I was at International buying some parts for my Eagle, and they had a couple of the cabin chassis with the crew cabs, and they were Duramax and 6-speed Allisons and all that. And I think they wanted for like a stripper model, $75,000, $80,000. Now again, you dually cab chassis. So if you're going to pull a fifth wheel or put a stake body or something on it or whatever, okay. and they were a lot of guys were doing the Silverado beds or the Ford Super Duty beds and stuff, and putting them on the cabs and chassis. Or
Yeah, I'm curious to see how they sell. I think Kenworth's going to do well with those. I think.
Well, because I know they had what they called a T270, which was a Class 6 truck, I think, and which with a lot of the box trucks and stuff like that. Not quite a Class 7, but still like a 26-foot bed or a 26-foot box, or they had some room in there because on the straight trucks, I think they're limited to 40-foot total overall length.
I'm not sure.
Well, that's when I was working with Landstar and all that with that young man out of Texas. That's what the regulations for that setup was. It was a 40-foot truck and tractor or truck and box length. So because that truck had a 18-foot box on it, because it had the 142 or 144 inch sleeper. So if you had a smaller sleeper, you could easily put the 20-foot or 22-foot box or whatever on it and all that. So, and like I said, when they built that truck, the idea was to live in it. So they put the biggest sleeper up they could, and 18-foot box with a lift gate, and they made it work. So
yeah, I'm curious. Nice looking truck. I'm sure a lot of the RV guys pulling the fifth wheels will be using those.
Well, it makes sense. I mean, if you got a brain that functions between your head, you've got a triple axle gooseneck or a toy hauler or something like that. I mean, don't get me wrong, a 1-ton is capable, but would you be more comfortable with something a little bigger? I would.
I'll tell you what, out here, I've seen probably 30, 40 semis bringing in fifth wheels, and they're dedicated. They got pickup beds on them, or they got toolboxes down the side. I've seen a couple with lifts where you could drive side by side, lift it up, and then put your Jeep under that, and then pull a fifth wheel. So a lot of guys out here got these semis.
Well,
I'm like, man, must be nice.
Well, like I said, a guy like you or me who had our license, had a truck or trailer, and we're done over the road. Truck's paid for.
That's what they're doing.
Why not utilize what you got?
So, guys, Vince, I thought of you this morning. I was watching some of the news, and they showed a piece where somebody videoed a trucker. I didn't catch what road he was on, but he was driving the wrong way, in the wrong direction of traffic in a semi, and they have video. There was a guy in a car that videoed him. The company, it's a white truck, and it just said Cargo Transportation LLC on the side. So they did stop the guy, and they did bring him in. They did a little research, and they found out that Cargo Transportation is run out of an apartment in Hopkins, Minnesota, registered on May 30th, 2023 to Abidwali Ahmed, and there's only 2 drivers in the company, and they've driven 81,552 miles in 2024 alone. But so they immediately suspended their licenses and their ability to drive, and I think they confiscated the truck, and they're going to look to shut down the company and all. But so the takeaway that I like out of it is, at least now that we're seeing some enforcement now, that issue has gotten big enough that they're doing something about it, and I'm glad to see that.
Ray, the bad part is, and don't ask me why I know this, but if you're going the wrong direction with the flow of traffic, the markers and all the stuff that's on the roads, they're all red. They're not white or green or blue. If you again have a functioning synapses between your ears, it's in your riding that it's very obvious that, wait a minute, this doesn't look right.
Yeah, and this guy was driving
red, and it's just
right. But and this guy was driving at speed. He was at highway speed, so he wasn't like, oh shit, I'm going the wrong way. How do I get it? No, he was at speed going the wrong way on an interstate. So,
and you wonder why I get nervous driving out in public?
Absolutely, Pop Squirrel. Absolutely. You know, it ends up. I was supposed to be taking a trip down to Tennessee with my buddy to pick up that chassis from Scott's Hot Rods, but it ends up we would have to leave. We would have to left this following Sunday at 4 a.m. and I have a show that I can't get out of doing. It's a very important show that I have to do this week to honor a slain member of law enforcement. So I couldn't. I had to tell my kid, I'm sorry, I can't go. I told him, and I said, how are you gonna? Because he's gonna drive his pickup, the Duramax, the dually pickup down, and then he's picking up a trailer from a place called the Toy Box,
Mhm.
and then he's gonna go. That's the Scott's is just near what the hell town is that? That's oh, I always forget, in Tennessee. Anyway, the Toy Box is just maybe a half hour north of that, so he'll park there for the night, stay over, get the trailer, then go pick up the chassis and drive home. And he's going to take 81. I said, "Oh, my favorite road."
Memphis, Louisville, Roanoke, not Roanoke. That's
No, real popular town. You know what? It's about 40 minutes north of, because I was there. I actually was there a couple of years ago. Real popular, very popular town in Tennessee. I'll tell you. He sent me a text.
Papa Squirrel, tell Debbie hey.
Do
Well,
what?
Tell Debbie hey.
You got Bristol, and then Knoxville.
Knoxville. It's on the east side of Knoxville. Is where they are. So right.
Oh, hey, or Ray, Knoxville Whiskey Works.
Yeah. Well, I won't be seeing it this time. So
well, they've got some killer gin.
Yeah, that's good. Next time, there have to be another trip. So
Paul, tell us about your show. How'd it go?
Well, it's not my show. That's the Starbird show. I was just a participant.
There you go.
I wasn't even a guest celebrity. I got to be a nobody participant for a weekend. It was kind of fun.
Okay. I've seen a lot of pictures. I'm glad to see Robin and
Chris. Oh
Chris.
man. Thank you for reminding me. I need to go down to the garage. I owe Chris a text message. So, yes, it was fantastic to see Chris and to talk to Chris. There were a lot of people, and as I told you, leading up to the show, there was going to be a lot of people there, and that Lewis, you needed to be there.
Yeah, I know.
But
can't be everywhere.
It was a little different this year, or at least the vibe in the air was a little bit more chill to me. At least it felt like it. But then when the little mishap happened Saturday evening, that pretty much put a damper on a lot of things for a lot of people. I'm sure.
What happened?
I'm the internet news didn't make it to you.
No, I haven't been on too much. I do a couple posts and I jump off.
One of the demolition derby cars on Saturday evening, came out of the demolition derby ring, crashed through the cement barrier, and crashed through the second retaining fence into the crowd.
Wow, that's scary.
It was very scary. Fortunately, there was no any injury is serious, so I don't want to sound like I'm downplaying this.
Right.
Everything's serious. I don't want to take anything away from anybody who was hurt, but there was no serious injuries. There was nothing life-threatening, to best of my knowledge.
Well, thank God.
Where that car broke through the barriers and into the crowd of spectators, wow, it could have been a whole lot worse, and it wasn't. So that's all I got to say about that. I had a wonderful time. The Model A ran fairly well going up, with the exception of I had a fuel delivery problem where it stopped taking fuel from one tank. So I had to stop a little bit more frequently going up there and keep the right side tank full. Eventually, I must have hit a bump hard enough to unjar whatever's clogging it, and it started drawing from both tanks on the return trip.
Oh, good.
But
It's always something, right?
Always something, you know. Hey, it is a 95-year-old car. I got to keep that in mind.
That's how it was with my snowblower. I'd be snow blowing and it would jam up, and I would just take it and just bounce it on the ground and rack the chute a couple times, and usually it would clear it. It's amazing what little jarring can do.
I live in Texas. I don't know anything about a snowblower.
That's right. Well, we'll fill you in. Don't worry.
There you go.
We'll give
What
you a
size
demonstration.
tank? What size tank is that? I mean, what did you put 2, or did it come
Yeah,
with 2? Or
It's 2 7-gallon tanks. They're
it's
saddle
with my
tanks.
International Scout then. It's
Wow.
yeah.
It's 2 saddle tanks, and it draws evenly from both tanks most of the time.
My Scout had 2 5.5 gallon tanks on the saddle, and it had a switch to turn one on to the other or whatever. It was kind of
I didn't plumb it that way. I didn't put any diverter valve or switching or pull from one or the other. I just teed them together up to the fuel pump and let them draw evenly from both tanks. And most of the time it works well. But there's times where, for whatever reason, the left tank, it'll stop drawing from the left tank. There's something clogging it up at the pickup. And it's, you basically got to pull the body back up to get those side skirts off and the running boards off to get the tanks out. So no, it can stay just the way it is.
Yeah.
I built the car to drive. I didn't build the car to work on it again. We'll put the effort into the other car.
There you go. Hey guys, I'm gonna have to jump off because my battery's getting ready to die, and I forgot to bring my cord.
Oh,
and that's why. Is that the why lights out? No solar going on. What's wrong, Lewis?
No, I'm in the Jeep.
Oh, you were in the doghouse.
Yeah, I got kicked out.
Okay.
No, we're over some friends, and so I jumped in the Jeep to do the show, but I forgot to bring my
When you coming
cord.
back east? When you coming back to Signature Solar?
If he's smart, he'd never come back this way. It's too cold.
Until it gets warm. Listen, I was supposed to leave 2 weeks ago, and I'm still here.
Yeah.
So when I see the temperature rise, then I'll start heading back.
We were almost at 80. I think it went to 79 today. I had the Model A out.
Yeah, we were at 91.
See, it's time to leave. It's getting too hot.
No, I got air. All right, guys. Next week we have Rick from Bone Shaker Jet Truck. So he'll be on next week, and then so that's gonna be a good one. He has some new stuff he has to tell us about. So we're excited about that.
Very good.
Lewis, you make sure you take that pretty wife of yours to Lambert's Cafe. On the trip back.
Where's that at?
Well, there's 3 of them. One's in Sykeston, Missouri. One's in Foley, Alabama, and then I forget where the other one is at.
Okay.
So depending upon if you come up 10, 20, 10, 20, 30, whichever way you come back across.
Yeah, probably 40.
Well, like I said, Sykeston, Missouri is the original one.
Yeah.
So that's I'll get you measurements on that other stuff, that stuff that we did earlier. I'll get you some measurements and stuff. And like I said, when you get back, just whenever.
All right, sounds good.
We'll make
you guys have a good night and see you next week.
All right, Lewis.
Take care, Lewis.
Later.
All right. So, Brian, I got another tool question for you. What sells more on the truck, O-lights or stream lights?
Beef jerky.
Yeah, right.
I only sell Streamlight.
Okay, you don't carry the O-lights? Okay. I know they're very popular, and that's
yeah. I used to carry a whole bunch of different lights, and it really just came down to the warranty and Streamlight. In the 25 years, I've only had one light that they did not take care of.
Yeah, and they do have a good warranty too. They're very good.
And for the aggravation and hassle, I know they could be a little bit more pricier, but I don't have to worry about anything. Even if I fix it and send the parts in, they send me the parts to replace it. So I don't. A lot of these companies have gotten to the point where when we fix them and send in the broken part, they won't. There's a big, we didn't send the gun in, or we didn't send the part in, or whatever. And I will admit, there's guys that scam them on it, but Streamlight, I just don't have any issues with. So
Yeah.
I can't complain.
I heard the old lights are they can be a little complicated.
Mm-hmm.
They're not real. I mean, you're talking about a flashlight, and if people are saying it's not user friendly, there's something going on there, and that doesn't sound right.
But like I said, everybody else, any other light, unless you know somebody and they take care of you. But other than that, I just stick with the Streamlight.
Sure. Okay. All right.
So
Curious.
Well,
I try not to. I know that. Well, luckily for like on the lights, they make enough of different colors so that everybody in the shop can have their own light and their own color. You know what I'm saying? And back in the day when everything was just black or red, it was these guys always want different colors. But when I was having 3 or 4 different manufacturers on, it just turned into a dog and pony show.
Yeah.
So. And I don't carry beef jerky anymore because I can't repo it unless I want to be like Cheek and Chong and walk around with a little baggie behind the guy's ass.
Right. Yeah, well, guys have a way of running up that bill
put
too.
Beef jerky on a truck account. Beef jerky's paid up front.
Yeah, I know, but there's always that sap story about how he doesn't have any money and he's going to go hungry, and I got to worry about him not surviving.
And his wife forgot to give him his lunch today, and he's got nothing to eat.
Or you have the guy that buys the case and eats 6 bags out of the 12 and ends up in a coma, and he's at the hospital. But that's a different story for off air.
Well, on that note, I tell you something. Since I did so much snow blowing this week, I did treat myself on Amazon. I bought we had a studio radio station meeting a couple weeks ago, and the guy, the manager, always buys a ton of shit from Costco, and he bought these little bags of Linden's chocolate chip cookies, which are phenomenal. We used to have them in the delis around here. And I bought myself a case, a case of 24 bags. And they're small. But so I said, good. Now I got plenty of milk, plenty of cookies, and that was my treat for snowball.
Now you just need the beef jerky.
No, I'm not.
Good.
No.
You don't have cookies and gin and tonics?
It's a 2-pound bag of M&Ms.
Yeah, M&Ms are terrible.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
I get start eating M&Ms, nothing but trouble after that.
Now you just need the beef jerky.
I'll tell you, my buddy Mike brought me from his last trip down when he went to Florida. He was in a Buc-ee's, and he brought me back some Buc-ee's beef jerky. And he said, I didn't know what to get you. There was a wall.
Yeah, they have a wall of it.
Yeah. So he just picked one, and it said it was kind of spicy. And man, you take a bite of it and you start chewing like, this isn't bad. And after a couple of chews, you're like, whoa. Yeah. Man,
it's a warming effect for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Watch out, folks. Don't touch that dial.
Yeah. Oh, that was kind of fun.
Yeah.
He did bring me some Tim Hortons coffee too. I'm gonna start drinking that next week, I think.
Just make sure you wash your hands before you touch your friend.
Yeah, right. Good point. So,
all right, fellas, I'm out of here tonight too.
All right.
See you next week.
Take care, Paul.
Later, Paul.
So,
yeah, you were mentioning make sure you wash your hands. We have it's a little chili pod that you have here that you use for like soup or whatever. Like we have menudo, and you break it up and put it in there. And even after washing your hands, you gotta wash them 2 or 3 times. That chili oil gets on you. You go to rub your face or you gotta go to the bathroom. It's still on there.
Oh yeah.
Uchi que pesa.
Yeah. Yeah, I've made that mistake before. It ain't pleasant watching the fat white guy dance around.
Get out of his way.
Yeah. So
So, as any better movement on the tool truck this week? More any guys showing up or?
it's starting to pick up a little bit. Like I said, the biggest. I mean, the weather didn't help around here,
Oh
and
no.
partial shutdown bullshit. It's just we we rely. There's so much relying on the government workers to go to work
Right.
and take their car into the shop and do their stuff and go to wherever I just it's hard to imagine that in the time back in the day. I mean, well, I don't want to get too wound up yet, but back in the day, we went to school.
Right.
They just closed the school for a week. Eff it, and
Right.
they just the school was closed for a week, and then they said it was going to be the last snow we got. They said it was going to be a 2-hour delay, which it probably could have done because it really. I mean, it was a good bit of snow, but it was just so wet, and the ground, the roads were treated, and it was clear. I mean, like I said, I was out at the regular time, and the roads were pretty much clear, and they could do it. But with the world that we live in, and the being blamed, or not being blamed, but don't want to be sued or can't do this because of that or whatever. It's just ridiculous. Nobody wants any liability, I guess. And
well, Brian, that explains why there's 900 billboards everywhere about lawyers saying that we sue about car accidents and truck accidents and if you slip and fell and if you stubbed your toe or you ate a sandwich and you didn't like it, call us, we'll sue.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No, I mean, I can't tell you. Well, I could tell you tons of stories about somebody going to sue me because I sold them something that they didn't want. You know what I'm saying? So, it's just ridiculous. And
how can you sell them something they didn't want? They bought it.
I know, but I was, somewhere along the line, I misinformed them. There's guys that try to get out of everything or not making their payments or use the tool wrong. Well, I thought the tool will do this. Like I said, it's just really incredible. Yeah.
You didn't thoroughly educate them that the ratchet is not a hammer.
Yeah, well,
they know that.
But like I said, it's just amazing. But I don't know. You could say at least 20 years ago, you had to go to work, so you got in your car and you drove to work. Today, there's a little bit of snow or it's wet out. They just call in and say, I can't work. I can't come in. I can work from home. And if they really work from home, but they don't have to go anywhere. So they're not driving.
Yeah.
And then, you got the certain states. We're not going to name any, but we got certain states and they for insurance reason, they lower the threshold of parts versus ratio of ownership or value, and the car's totaled.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And then what really sucks, because it happened to us, when we lost one of our expeditions, it was 6 months old or 8 months old. And of course, by now we were upside down in it because of the appreciated value. And the insurance company totaled the vehicle. And that's when we learned all about gap insurance we did not have, which is, another life lesson. And so then, they told me it was totaled, and we did our thing and took our lumps and bruises. And then 3 months later, I get a phone call from a body shop in South Carolina. And I'm like, excuse me? And they said, well, you were the owner of such and such? And I was like, yeah. And they said, well, we got it all back together. And because of the premium sound system, we needed the headphones because they were wireless headphones for the kids to watch, the TV or the movies, in the thing. And they were like, do you still have the headphones? And I said, yeah, I still have the headphones. And they said, oh, well, could you, I'll pay the shipping. Could you send it to me? And I said, yeah, they're $500. And he's like, what? And I said, yeah, if you want them, they're going to cost you $500. And he goes, well, they're not doing you any good. And I said, well, my insurance company told me my truck was totaled. And now you want me to send you a couple $100 headsets, so that you could sell the vehicle. Go buy your own.
Yeah, there you go.
I called the insurance company and said, hey, man, I thought you told me this thing was totaled. Well, it was totaled. The cost of fixing it was not worth it. And I said, well, then why did this guy in South Carolina? So you gypped me off by paying me, telling me that because of the depreciated value and the gap insurance, and I'm all out of money. And then you turn around and we had to recoup our money. Instead of having it fixed and I have a vehicle, now I'm in debt because I owe X amount on this and had to go get another vehicle. So, but I'm trying to be as clean as possible live.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously the guy must have bought it and he got on a salvage title.
Yeah.
Well, some states don't have salvage titles.
Yeah.
South Carolina does.
Huh?
SC does.
Yeah, well, I just know it was down south. I don't know exactly. I'm just using. Yeah. This is like the episode of Adam 12 when they say names have been changed to protect the innocents.
Right. Actually, that was Dragnet.
Yeah, it was Dragnet.
Whatever. It was one of them. I watched too much of that old shit.
Just keeping you honest. So, Brian, listen. While you're on that subject, why don't you speak to that Cornwell truck? The issue we were talking about that the other night with insurance, where that's concerned with an issue like that.
Yeah, it's gonna be a mess.
Because that's interesting too. I mean, I had a couple questions about that. How are you covered? I don't know if you want to get into that at all.
Well, I mean, you're covered. You're covered the vehicle, and you're covered the.
Start by telling everybody what we're talking about. What happened?
Well, there was a Cornwell truck, tool truck, and he had a situation on the road and rolled the vehicle, and it destroyed the truck. I mean, there's nothing left of it.
Right.
And there was shit all over the place, and so long story short, basically. You have your insurance is covering the vehicle, and then you have insurance covering the product or the product, the inventory, and that's like my insurance company. The people I have, they call me about every 3 months, and they constantly are asking you. What's your value, what's your value at, or has your value changed? Because this is, again, if you only say, oh, I got 100,000 on the truck and you really have 250, it's really hard to go back and tell the insurance company, hey, I got 250 instead of 100 because you haven't been paying on that. Because, they set the price and I've had, 2 different insurance companies over the 20 plus years, and they've all been really good because they do call and say, hey, it's been 6 months or it's been 3 months. Have you changed? And I'll say, oh, it's about the same or whatever. But, like I said, that's, and, again, it will take a while for that to clear up because some things get destroyed, some things don't. So, it's just really going through. And, the guy was lucky. It could have been a whole hell of a lot worse. I mean,
He's
we've
lucky
lost.
he didn't get a 40-ounce mallet through his head. But
Yeah, he had a I think it was international, but it was a walkthrough, and so all that stuff is coming through. There's nothing protecting between him and the. At least it wasn't a bread truck. We had one guy that had a M55, a bread truck, and he laid it over, and he said about 35% of everything in the back came up in the front to meet him, and there's no place. There's no place up front to go. So,
did he have a mechanical failure, Brian, or was it something else?
I don't know too much of the basics, but he went off the road. So I don't know what happened.
Once you hang a tire off,
it's a scary ride. I've had that. I've had that one tire. I mean, I've been close, and I've hit some black ice before, and that 18-foot box is a lot of ass moving around back there. That's a lot of real estate. You don't realize how much on the road that takes up when that thing comes out. Yeah. I've been lucky. I've been lucky in all the years of driving that truck with that, but a few guys we've had. I think it was. I don't know what that was. Maybe 6 years ago, we had a guy down south. He got caught up and he died. He got in a bad situation and had that happen, and that was he passed away, and that was on that. So I mean, it's there. But again, insurance-wise, they'll eventually get it straightened out, I guess. But hopefully, he had, enough coverage.
Hopefully.
And the saddest part about it, when that, he was that stuff gets. I lost. Well, I'll tell you guys later. But I, that stuff goes. That stuff. Gets swept up, and gets put into a salvage yard, and that nobody. I mean, that's like free pickings. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you don't even you can't even tell what was gone, what's missing, what happened. That's just that's the nature of that beast right there.
That's what I was wondering. I mean, a lot of the tools, obviously, from the pictures I saw, the boxes are destroyed, but you could. Clean up and sell the tools. They're still new tools. I mean, some of them may not have boxes anymore.
Yeah.
So you could reclaim a lot of that. I mean, it's not really, you weren't carrying crystal or eggs,
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why the insurance part of it gets kind of sticky, but you just can't, it's like, you got the truck. He had a couple boxes on the truck. They were actually, from the pictures, they were still strapped in. But, damage-wise on them, and again, just trying, that would just be a nightmare trying to figure out. It'd be better if everything just caught on fire and melted, then it's easy to just write it all off.
Can you imagine going through the weeds trying to find every 10-millimeter socket that fell?
Hey,
it would be the 10s too.
Man, I want to tell you something. When I left the dealership one time, and me and Jenny were dating, she had a Ford Ranger truck, and I had that was that black Craftsman box I was telling you about, Ray, with the gold trim. It was a professional series. It was the black box, and it had a side cabinet. And I was getting ready to go start at another place, and I did the typical, I need a week off before I start. You know what I'm saying? I go home, and then I used Jenny's truck, and I, loaded it all up, strapped it down, and strapped it all down. And one day, I get up and I said, I'm going to go through and clean the toolbox out and get everything up. And it was a nice day, so I backed the truck out of the garage, and pulled the truck out actually, or no, I backed the truck out and sit out in the driveway. And I sat there for a couple hours cleaning, went through, got stuff that I didn't need, got the box all done. And I was like, oh shit, I was supposed to be someplace. So dumbass me closes the drawers, and I didn't lock it.
Yeah.
I closed the drawers and I said, oh, I'm just rolling into the garage. So I get in the truck, started it up, and the garage had a little lump to get in. So I hit that and give it gas. The drawers come open and the box slides to the back and falls out of the truck.
Oh, geez.
And there is shit everywhere. So I pulled in, and then there's only a few times, but I turn into the Incredible Hulk.
Uh-huh.
And I explode. And I grab this box. I don't know. I mean, I just grab the box. I pick it up. I throw it in the back of the truck.
Wow.
And I grab the snow shovel, and I'm piling shit into the back of the truck. Close the garage door, and I go do what I'm like, wound to the nth degree. So I get done doing what I had to do. I don't even remember what it was or what.
And you were going to a meeting with your anger management counselor, right?
Yeah, anger management meeting.
So I get home, and of course, I get the box up, and I bent one drawer, and I kind of bang it out and get it all working. I'm starting to put the tools back in, and of course, God love him, my old man comes home, pulls up in his car. He had at that time
a Jetta.
No. It was the 76 Buick LeSabre.
Ooh.
4-door, last of the big cars.
Wow, Sabrine.
Yeah, man, that was the Gray Ghost. It was silver, but it had faded to that pewter gray color, with red interior.
Oh, wow.
So it was last of the big cars. My old man walks up and he's picking shit up. He goes, "Do you have a problem?" I was like, "Don't even start." And man, I was still red, But those, like I said, I spent months out in the front yard. It didn't have far to go, but it all rolled down the driveway in different parts of the front yard,
Yeah.
I spent months picking up bits and pieces and sockets and stuff like that.
It was funny because that Craftsman video that I sent you, I sent it to my buddy Mike Jr., and he replied back to me and said, wow, he goes, remember when we used to go to Sears and look at the toolbox, those black boxes, because that was when he was going to get into it. I said, yeah, that's what me and Brian were talking about, those black boxes with the gold trim.
Yeah.
I said, now it ends up the one that I have at the shop is a red box with gold trim. It was the one that was like right before that.
Yeah.
And but I said, yeah, we were just talking about that, tonight with those black boxes, man. That was the shit.
That was like, because I remember I had got one, and when I went to the dealer, we dropped it off, and everybody looked, because everybody had, back then it was just red boxes.
Right.
I mean, it was just, everything was red with chrome trim,
Exactly.
And unless you are a weirdo and had a Kennedy box that was the architect box, because it was brown,
Yeah.
And usually a lot of guys had just the top chest of one of those because of the drawers. They were smaller drawers,
Yeah.
But, again, like I said, I had that black and chrome of a professional series, and that was funny. There's
Well, talking about being a weirdo, I have the gray Kennedy machinist boxes, but I do have a red Kennedy, top and bottom. Actually, I have a top, middle, and bottom roll cabinet.
I just have a bottom. I have a red Kennedy bottom.
And
that's my carburetor box. It has all my
Yeah.
It has all my spacers, adapters, bowls, rebuild kits.
Yeah. That's the box I would have brought down to my daughter's house and left. If she had a garage, I just would have left that down there.
Yeah.
Get it out of my shed.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a guy that bought a box from me, and he used that as a trade-in, and it was a night. I mean, it was I don't know. It's late '60s, early '70s. It's a old box. It's old and it was in really good shape, and I could never resell it, and I ended up using that as. I put all my carburetor stuff and carburetors and rebuild kits and special tool, the special tools with all that. So, but yeah, that was a mess for sure. Yeah. So hopefully, but that had to been one hell of a ride with a truck going over.
Oh, I bet you he must have been shit.
Did he roll off an embankment or?
No, well, he
soft shoulder. It was a small soft shoulder.
Yeah.
Like Vince said, once a wheel goes off, you get that momentum. Yeah. Inertia takes over, and that's it. Gravity is not your friend.
Well, and like I said, you get something spongy and what I mean, the way the weather's been. I mean, you get that thing sink. That tire will sink in a heartbeat right into and you're fighting against that, trying to pull it back up over the asphalt.
Right.
Yeah.
If its shoulder's that soft, it'll dig in. It won't. It will, like, because the weight on it and all that being at that angle. If it, when it hits it and it's soft.
Yeah.
And then if something breaks, and then all of a sudden, then you break a spindle or something, or wheel or whatever, and then that just, like you said, just that momentum and.
Yeah, it's all you're going for the ride for sure.
It's that quick.
Yeah, you ain't. I mean, I know we had a guy in our district. He had he's the guy that had the bread truck, and this was many moons ago. He laid one over on the highway, and he said between all the shit flying around and the sparks coming off the road from the truck, he said it was, he compared it to going into hyperspace with some Star Wars. That's what he said that looking out the front windshield looked like. And that kind of dates how long ago this was, you know what I'm saying? When he said, but
on a highway far, far away.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's pretty violent because I know, but the guy that was in our thing, like a screwdriver had, when it came off the roof, it stuck through the side of the truck. It went through.
Yeah.
And I've had that. I've made that mistake where I've had a screwdriver come out of the ceiling driving down the road and hit my laptop and go through my laptop. Wow. And actually, I can't show. I mean, I could take a picture and show, but I got 2 dimples on my computer here where a socket's come off. I've done it. I should do it again and post it, but I've Velcroed my phone to the back wall and hit the video, then go driving down the road.
Yeah,
dude, you want to talk about if you had to torture somebody, I can only imagine just taking somebody, throw them in the back of the truck and driving down the road, because that shit flying around and swinging and it's just
Well, there was a term for it. I forget what it was called now, but I know in certain police departments, when a perp was being brought in for questioning, he'd get the ride of his life in either the back of a squad car or in a van,
Back in a paddy wagon,
un,
beating around.
unseatbelted, and they'd find like the best roads. Guys would come in. Look, we never laid a hand on him. No, you didn't have to.
Yeah.
Guys a
My
pinball.
my friend, who's a retired cop, said they didn't have to unloosen the seat belt. They had enough slack in it
Oh,
that
yeah.
all you
Yeah.
had to do was just keep slamming the brakes on,
Right.
and pretty soon he'd start cooperating.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
you'd never unfasten that seat belt.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so.
That's why I don't want to ride in the back of a cop car.
Mhm.
No.
So
If you have to, you just behave from beginning to end
yeah.
to make it as easy as possible.
So I'll
God,
tell you,
yes.
with that as a tie-in, I'll tell you about the show we're doing next Sunday. There was an event in, I believe it was '88. Drug stuff was running rampant in the city and all, and there was a lot of nasty stuff, and the cops were making some inroads, busting the bad guys. But there was a guy who moved into South Jamaica, and he was not from this country, and he didn't like what he saw in his neighborhood. There was a lot of drug activity, a lot of stuff that he wasn't fond of. So he made some complaints, some citizen complaints, and however it happened, I don't know, but the drug runners kind of got word. They knew that this guy was diming him out. So I don't know all the details. I don't know if there were threats against him or whatever. One of these guys is going to be on trial. This guy was going to be a witness to what he had done. So they post an officer on to sit on his house, to protect him. And he was, unfortunately, we're looking at a 22-year-old guy who was on the job 2 weeks. And he's sitting there watching this house. And from jail, the kingpin got word of what was going on and said, take him out. And they did. They came and shot him, assassinated him right in his car, and he became somewhat of a martyr on the police force because of how he was taken out. So fast forward now, like almost 40 years, that car has been around and in the police department's possession, and it's gone from facility to facility, and it's gotten in worse and worse shape. It was inside, then it was outside, then it was inside the building that had a fire and collapsed. I mean, it's like this car has like bad luck. But a group of detectives decided that the way to commemorate this was to restore the car and show it. So they did. They are now. They're actually currently working on it. From what I understand, they're going to leave the door. I don't know if the bullets went through both doors or just one, but they're going to leave the door where the bullets were intact, unrestored. The rest of the car will be restored, and then they can use it at different events or whatever. So I'm going to have one of the lead detectives, retired, who's on that case, rebuilding the car, on the show Sunday. So, because today, the 25th, actually it was. I told you the 25th was the day, but it was the overnight tour. It was like 1 a.m. or something, I believe, when he was killed. So today was the actual. I was supposed to have him on last week, but he had to cancel at the last minute. So that's going to be Sunday. We're going to be talking about that. That's a historic event in New York history.
Ray, so after that incident happened, what did they do to change protocol as far as sitting on houses like that? Or maybe you don't know, but you can ask.
I don't know. I was talking to my good friend who's watching the show now, in fact, who does know. He was in the NYPD and knew a lot of procedures and all, and we never really get to talk about that. I don't know. I would think, like at least two guys, one guy looking this way, one guy looking that way. I don't know. I really don't know what the. I guess maybe at the time they thought maybe it was not high enough profile. Maybe they figured, hey, you know what? Just to keep this citizen happy, we'll put a car outside. I mean, that happens all the time. Maybe they felt that there was no real urgency. They didn't sense a threat, and they didn't know that this dude from prison, called a shot.
And even if they did, I mean, like I said, when they probably did change something, but they really ain't going to talk about it because
that's internal. That's internal.
That's internal stuff. I mean, you always That's the problem. You have those questions or ideas or thoughts or whatever. That's why there's a few times. It's funny because I think you sent it to me, Ray, or maybe I sent. Well, it was something. It was on the Secret Service. I mean, it was on the president's limo, and they showed the door open, how thick the door was.
Yeah.
And stuff like that normally, isn't discussed or shown, or that a lot of times that stuff doesn't get seen because then you have an idea how that it's got something, but they don't want to.
To that point, I was just talking about this with my buddy yesterday. When the back, like in the Kennedy days in the 60s, they had the Lincoln and they had the full bubble top and they had the half bubble top.
Yeah.
And I was watching, I've still been deep diving into this stuff. So I'm still now probably have like 40 hours into it. Actually, I'm transitioning into Watergate now. So, and I just ordered a book from the Nixon Library, in fact. So I'm kind of, and it's all, I just heard a great quote tonight. And I'll tell you that in a minute, but back to the limo. One of the guys, they had he was a Secret Service member back in the day, and he said, we would put that bubble top on depending on conditions. It could be rain, or maybe the president wanted it. Maybe we felt it was deemed necessary. And the interviewer asked him, well, what level of security did that really give, the occupants of the car? And he said, none. He goes, it was the perception. It looked bulletproof, but it wasn't. It was plexiglass. He goes, but just the fact that something looks now, and plus he goes, okay, so now you do have another layer in between the people and the outside, so maybe a shot would deflect or, not be a direct.
Well, yeah, your travel. It's like it's like shooting through a windshield.
Right.
There is some deflection or movement.
Right. So that was there, but they said more importantly, we knew that when you put it on, it looked bulletproof, and. Right. And people would think the same thing, and then maybe they would change their plan and not take the shot. He said, so it's all just a matter of perception. And I'll tell you, with that in mind, when you look at any presidential limo, even the current ones, I mean, unless you can really spot something, you can't see the complexity and how, like you said, how thick the doors are until it opens, or how thick the glass is, because it's made to look like an average vehicle.
Right. Yeah.
And they even... which is amazing that they, the springs they must have in those damn things.
Yeah.
But this research I was watching tonight, it was actually, it was Eric Huntley who said it. He said, when you talk about stuff like the Kennedy assassination, or you want to talk about the Johnson administration or Nixon, or, any of these things, because when we were taught history, we were taught the event. World War II. World War II ended in 1945, and that's the end of it. In Vietnam, and there was a starting date and an ending date in Korea, and we were taught these things in chunks. But now through research, they're seeing that the people involved had threads through maybe 4 or 5 of those major events because they were in power or in the military or the CIA or the FBI or whatever. So their lives went through, 4 or 5 major historic events. That's the thread of history, not just the event. So when we just talk about an event like the Kennedy assassination, boom, it's over. No, but the people who were involved did stuff prior and were in future things. And they said that's how, history wasn't really taught the right way. And I would agree with that because that's how I was taught history. So, but so interesting, just interesting thoughts, interesting stuff.
The one that kills me is when you get these people come out and they start talking about, oh, there's the president and the beast, and they keep going. They start going to beast, and it's like, only the press calls it the beast. Nobody in the Secret Service, nobody in the none of them call that the beast. Yeah. That's only the media calls it the beast.
Yeah.
I call it the beast because I'd like to drive it and go through traffic. I mean, like gridlock traffic, not with the motor, not with the motorcade opening it up.
Coach, take it easy, Coach. Listen, come up here. Well, I'll get you a snowplow. We got them all over the place. Just mount one of those on your car. You do whatever you want.
I'm going to say you got a bulldozer in the garage right now or something.
No.
So Vince, I got to tell you, just as a point of passing observation, your beard is looking really good, and it's two-tone, which is cool. I love two-tone beards. But if you were to just cut the brown section and take all the white off and just leave that brown spot, that'd look really cool. Really cool.
Do like a
Yeah, no, you got to leave the end to the sides because it goes brown. Right, it's coming up the top.
do some
It's
mutton
everything
chops.
from the bottom off.
I could do some the '60s mutton chops.
Yeah, all the white off. Yeah, I think that would look really, really cool.
All right, guys, time for me to get out of here.
Any
Yeah.
you working yet, Jimmy?
Not yet, but lead's getting hotter.
All right, so you're still enjoying yourself. Good. Your wife driving you crazy yet, or what?
Oh, she's been doing that for 40 years.
Well, I mean, now you're home every day.
Yeah.
Hey,
All right.
hey, you're saying that you do have the bouncer at the door, right? Because she's gonna come flying through in a minute.
Oh, no. The door's closed. She's
Oh, good.
in the other room
Good.
watching TV.
Good.
All right, take care, guys.
All right, Jim.
Take care, Jimmy. Say.
So, Vince, on the other note, to your this week, Love and Spoonful. That's a bit of a dive. That's a bit of a dive. That's one that trips people up in rock trivia.
That is a throwback from my youth. In the 70s, there was a disc jockey who used to have a show, Breakfast with Burl.
Yeah.
And either my mom or whoever would take us to school, elementary school, and he was on it from 6 to 9 or whatever. And part of his thing was, he would give the weather, the weather forecast and traffic and stuff like that. And he would, slurp his coffee and all that, which drives my mother insane. Even if I mention his name, she goes nuts. But that was one of the songs that he played every day.
Great song.
He played it every day, like 7:50. Like 7:15 every morning. He played that song, and I remember as a young man, having heard the song, wasn't sure who it was, but I knew it was kind of one that I liked it because it was, got a little bit of a bounce to it and all this.
Yeah.
And that.
Very melodic. Very melodic.
And then as I discovered Google and that, once all that stuff happened, that changed my music world.
Yeah.
Because this thing up here and I've always told anybody who's known me forever, and I've, made no beefs, my mind is like a jukebox. In the background, there is a song playing, and it's been like that since I was a little kid. Stuff I would hear, there was a song in the background of my mind playing. And once Google and all this stuff in the internet and PCs and stuff, and I got to where I started, like a line in a song, Nashville Cats, you put that in there and go, enter, and the search engines would pop it up and go, oh, that's Love and Spoonful. And so then I started looking at buying tracks and stuff.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, you'll know the first song that I remember it like it was yesterday, the first song that I ever looked up and bought off of as a digital download. Because it was a song that I absolutely loved, and I never heard it on the radio.
Okay.
Sugar Loaves.
Oh,
Don't call us.
Oh, excellent.
We'll call you.
Really cool video. I've used that song on the show many times, and the video is really, really cool. It's like almost like a claymation. The telephone,
all the phones, the phone and everything.
Yeah. Well,
that was
all right. So, with that in mind, what about my pick of the week?
Snowblind Friend. Now I know that what you call it, did Snowblind. Oh, okay. No. That one I don't know.
It's a little bit. Well, give it a listen.
Okay,
it's a little bit of a. I guess you could call it a deep track. It's on Steppenwolf 7, which is one of my favorite Steppenwolf albums. Let's see. I can find this here. I'll show you. This has always been one of my favorite Steppenwolf albums, and it's it's a little bit of an oddball. It's not really, Hippo Stomp is on it. Ear Split and Loud and Boomer is on this album. I happen to like it a lot. In fact, this is in the garage right now. The CD is in the garage in my garage playlist. But Snowblind Friend is on here. It's kind of a ballad, so it's not a real rocker. It's more of a ballad about a friend who gets addicted and goes down because of his choices. So it's kind of a sad song, but I just it's one of those ones that just always resonated with me for one reason or another, and I figured because of what's outside, it really was a pretty fitting. So
for some reason, whenever I think of Snowblind, I think of Styx.
Yes, that's the more modern,
which is got that same thing. It's because I remember I'd be playing that and they're going like, "Who's that?" And it's like it's Styx. It's like Snowblind. Right.
That's a good song. That's a very good song too. Yeah.
But
let me see here. Song facts.
Hey, the music in your head, the jukebox thing, it's great. I have the same thing. The only problem is sometimes I start dancing and people get a little nervous because I'm dancing and no music they hear, but I hear it fine.
Vince, this is the golden age. Steppenwolf recorded the most popular version of this song in 1970 on Steppenwolf 7. In 68, they covered another anti-drug song written by Hoyt Axton called The Pusher. Right? That was on the debut album. Axton's songs weren't all doom and gloom. He also wrote Joy to the World, which Steppenwolf passed on, choosing Snowblind Friend instead. So, again, John Kay, I could see where he would go a little bit more to the darker songs. But, I highly recommend check out the album. At least check out the song. I think you'll like it.
I'll drop a needle on it and
give
a chance to You gonna keep us up here or sign us off, or?
Yeah, I guess I'll sign us off for now. It's 10:30. We're gonna get going, so we'll say this has been Playing in Traffic, loosely rigged, where we know Aquaman Brian, Vince. We got, of course, Coach Isaac and Papa Squirrel. Jim has left the room already, and we'll be back next week with be talking jet cars. I guess that's going to be kind of. We'll get them over here and melt some of the snow. So until then, keep it where you got it. Listen to Motormouth Radio on Sunday for the Eddie Byrne tribute. And we'll be back next week.